All right, welcome back to One Bills Live. Chris Brown, Steve Tasker here with you on a Tuesday, and pleased to welcome in now former Bills center Mitch Morse joining the show as a new segment. As we know, he is the host of the Monday Mornings with Mitch podcast, but the segment he's going to be doing with us this season is called From the Armchair. It's presented by Raymour Flanigan. Raymour Flanigan is a proud partner of the Buffalo Bills. Mitch, great to see you as always. I like the casual look with the hat on backwards. I'm all about it. And nice helmet placement as well behind you.
Well, there was another helmet over here, and I got a lot of flack for having it, so it's on the ground.
The red one? Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
It's red in nature, and I'll tell you what, I was afraid. I had to lock my doors here in Florida because I know that people talk. And the people spoke. They didn't like it. So you live and you learn. That's what life's all about. Perspective is gained after the fact. I'll put it on after this, and we'll part.
Let's review this Week 1 barn burner of a game, won by the Bills at the gun, 41-40. And I know there are some things that you pulled out of the game that maybe we haven't talked enough about yet, so I want to delve into that with you. And one would be the contributions made by the collective at the tight end position. A pretty impressive stat line if you add what those three guys did all together. And what I want to pitch to you first on this subject is last year we saw the Chiefs partially out of necessity really lean on 13 personnel. You know, after they lost Rashee Rice for the season, Hollywood Brown was out of the lineup for most of the year. They really leaned on their three tight ends and went 13 personnel more than any other team in football. I'm not saying the Bills are going to do that, but I wonder if Joe Brady pulled some things from Andy Reid's usage of 13 personnel with what we saw in Week 1.
Yeah, well, I think Joe Brady is pliable in regards to just what that game plan presents. And I think they saw that there was a matchup where you could get the tight ends, to your point, alive in the pass game, but also it was a delicious watch to watch these guys do their thing in the run game. I think Dalton Kincaid had an opportunity to squash any rumors that he wasn't feeling himself, came out that early touchdown. And then I think my favorite play from him was that 1 second catch going out of bounds to get that field goal off the second half. That was unbelievable. Then you have Dawson, first catch of the game, also a little tip drill in the fourth quarter on that fourth down. Keon Coleman. Maybe a little serendipitous. Maybe the Holy Spirit was at work there, but that's cool. And then Jackson Hawes. I believe that's what I'm saying correctly.
Yeah,
Jackson, right. Georgia Tech rookie, welcome to the NFL moment, and the biggest moments of the game when he needed that conversion to get down to the 2-yard line, I believe, so that they can punch it in to keep this thing going. He made a remarkable catch in traffic. So I would also be remiss to go back to Dawson. My favorite play of the game was the first run of the second half for the Bills. I mean, he just grabs this dude and takes him to church on the ground. And it was a disgusting act of assault. And it was just really cool to see that energy and that execution, especially coming out of the second half when there might have been a little bit of a lull. Those guys really came up and stepped up big for this game.
Yeah, there was also a time when Kincaid took his guy off into the bench area of the Baltimore Ravens on a little swing pass too. So they did mix it up a little bit. And from training camp, this Jackson Hawes was a guy who, the O-line,
we had Connor McGovern on the show.
Yeah, Connor McGovern and the rest of the O-line are really raving about his nuanced ability to both be a blocker, but also be a helper. You know, the nuance of it is to slide off, go to the next level, help as much as you can, keep your eyes in a different spot than where you're blocking so you can slide off. Just a real nuanced, advanced young player as a blocker. And then the first time we see him, he's catching one down the seam 3 times, by the way. But, I think that's a good catch by you, Mitch. That group of guys, they weren't the centerpiece, but man, oh man, they really made their place known in this game.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's easy to lose the guys when, especially on those big plays, when not actually having the ball in your hands. Like the fact that Dalton, I know exactly what play you're talking about, takes this guy out there in the pass game, even if it's max protection. Like the tight ends are asked to do so much. Of course, get some credit for touching the ball here and there, but what they were able to do on Sunday, hopefully, is something that we're going to see in the foreseeable future from this ball club.
Yeah, they finished collectively 7 receptions, 97 yards, and the touchdown, the 15-yard reception by Kincaid that got the Bills on the board to start the game. This guy was noticed by more than just you, but Ed Oliver had himself a night, and it pretty much carried from start to finish. This wasn't like a big second-half performance like we saw from Josh. Ed was pretty much a start-to-finish performer in this one.
Yeah, well, my favorite thing about this is now the whole world knows how much of a pain in the ass it is to try to block Ed Oliver. We've known it in the organization for years. And I mean, of course, he's been making plays for the last few years, but just to see what he was able to do, to your credit, like from the very first play until the last, these first games, you're trying to also catch your breath because you can't emulate game speed. You can't emulate game reps. And to see just where he was in conditioning wise and explosiveness and just his quickness off the ball, those 2 tackle for losses in huge parts of the game. One of those for that fumble. Of course, the sack, which was huge. I mean, getting stiff armed by a guy who's pretty good at eluding defenders and putting them down the ground. And then the thing that I thought most people didn't see was what he meant in the stunt game and the pass. I mean, he was causing havoc. I mean, one of his sack was off a twist game, but also just like getting defenders on different levels as an offensive line is really tough. And if you can pick guys and get guys free, or at least create a little disturbance in the pocket, that gets the quarterback off their timing a little bit. And I thought Ed did a phenomenal job of that.
They looked like a really, really well-oiled machine when James Cook's little swing pass in the fourth quarter, catch and run. It looked like he was going to get in, and he got upended right inside the 5-yard line. That was really a well-blocked play on that.
Yeah, Steve, that's a great point. I thought it was kind of a culmination of everything you wanted to see in a football team, which was making these big adjustments. Maybe at halftime they were able to see this. I mean, communication to get everyone on the same page. They brought 7. They get the full slide. So the offensive line, what you do is you swell up in that interior, what's called 2 guys take 3. So you take a man and a half. And then even James, when he was coming out, faked like he was going to block so that the defender engaged, kind of swung up right here, took it. And then there was amazing blocking downfield. So I thought just from top to bottom what that meant. Of course, it was a big play in the game, but what that meant conceptually in the big picture of where this team is at was really, really cool to see, especially in that first game.
And really what that play is about, Mitch, is trying to find the one-man advantage. And when they're coming and James is in, the defender is thinking he's in for protection. And then James, to your point, to even say, let me at least make it look like I'm going to block, you slip him out so he can become your man advantage. To Steve's point earlier, that's supremely nuanced stuff there that Josh is aligning pre-snap, right?
Yeah, I think nuance is the most apt word to describe it. It just shows the attention to detail that and the onus that this team has put on, especially in the offense, when you have to execute stuff like this. It's a really remarkable thing to see. I think execution was one of the biggest things. It was the second time in 16 years, on another note, that I don't think the Bills turned it over in the season opener. So that just also shows like where they are, where Josh's head's at, like there's maturity as a quarterback, where he wants to do, like if we take care of the ball and especially don't give it to this Ravens offense that's super explosive, and then just the maturation of this team and these competitive moments that they execute and they don't try to do too much and that they just keep the ball in front of them. And that way they get an opportunity like they did with James to go down there and then eventually score.
Well, that last one from me, Mitch, you go back, we've been talking about this game ever since, I was going post game. So you start going over the plays that we've been going over and other plays as well, even the missed 2-point conversions in a game that is as close as it can possibly be. You go back over the course of that game, particularly in the second half, there had to be even one of those 2 points. If the Bills get the 2-point conversion, that game doesn't turn out like it did. Because then the Ravens aren't shutting it down in that last series. They're trying to move the football and get their own field goal to win it if it's tied. The ripple effects of what happened early in this second half that go all the way to the end of the game can't be underestimated. And the Bills' ability to use the clock, and thank goodness Keon Coleman got tackled, right?
Yes.
It's just one thing after another, and it's just a testament to how tough it is to win a game. Nobody knows that until you kind of go through games like this. Ravens had it won, then the Bills just absolutely stole it from them at the end. It's hard to win these games.
Yeah, I mean, what you talked about, the standard, of course, is to win. The standard is to win your block. The standard is to make the catch, make the tackle, but it's impossibly hard. And what I think the Bills do very well is, I heard this as a young player, is celebrate every win. And a win, of course, can be a game, but a win can be a rep at practice. A win could be a block. It could be a catch. And what it does is it feeds execution. Energy breeds execution. It feeds that energy. And what also that is unique about this team is that they garner that energy for good. They don't let it get outside of themselves. I thought maybe in that first half, emotions, kind of what this game meant, maybe got some players a little bit outside of themselves. But what they were able to do coming out of half was just kind of tighten up everything, even mentally, of course, executionally. But they celebrate each other's wins, man. And I think that's super unique. And it's something that I think is a trademark of this team, and they can harness that into future success.
All right, so before we let you go, Mitch, let's spin that energy and emotion forward to the Week 2 matchup with the Jets coming up. How do you kind of guard against what was looked upon for weeks, basically all training camp and all preseason, as a preeminent Week 1 matchup, and avoid, the proverbial emotional letdown to come into this thing? It's a division matchup, so I'm thinking it should take care of itself. But what needs to be done to keep people from riding the roller coaster, especially maybe young players or players that are new to the roster?
I think you just need to turn on the tape of the Jets versus the Steelers. This isn't your Jets team of old, man. This is a well-rounded, well-coached ball club that's got a quarterback that's mobile, running back that can make plays happen, an offensive line who is young but plays very well together, the defense that's always been the Jets defense, which is one that executes and create pressure. One of the things that I talked about it earlier with someone was that you can often have these emotional letdowns after this big game. But if you're led by the guys in the locker room, which the Bills have, who have seen this time and time again, understand this league, they can guide those young players into this, that have that competitive maturity, that they can implement what they've seen on, because the film wasn't perfect. That's part of the gig on both sides of the ball. You're going to see that. But if you can make those adjustments, still keep the good stuff, what you got, which is that execution late in the game and that energy, which we saw was palpable, and bring that into the next week's. It starts on Wednesday, man. Like, you flush it and you're into game planning. And then I have a feeling that this team's not going to let that emotional roller coaster take hold. They're going to be as ever present and as steady as possible to execute against a very good Jets team on Sunday.
Thanks, Mitch.
Mitch, appreciate it, and look forward to talking to you next week.
Chris, you're almost there, buddy. I'll get you a Bic razor. We'll get this thing.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I got a weird shaped head, Mitch. I don't have a beautiful round dome like you do. I think it would look weird, but I don't know. Maybe sometime, maybe someday, we could talk about it offline. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thanks, Mitch.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.